What if everything you feared most, loss, failure, humiliation, wasn't a shadow to be avoided, but a teacher to be embraced? In a world where success is glamorized, comfort is idolized, and failure is shunned, we're often left unprepared for life's inevitable storms. But what if the antidote to anxiety wasn't in shielding ourselves from pain, but in rehearsing it? The Stoic practice of Premeditatio malorum, or negative imagination, dares us to face the worst before it happens. By vividly imagining setbacks, betrayals, and losses, we paradoxically free ourselves from their power. This isn't about pessimism, it's about clarity, strength, and gratitude. As Marcus Aurelius urged, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Instead of running from fear, we train to master it. By leaning into this radical practice, we cultivate an unshakable peace, one that thrives not despite hardship, but because of it. If this resonates with you, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more insights on building resilience and living with purpose. Let's dive in. 1. What is negative imagination? Negative imagination involves intentionally visualizing the worst possible scenario in any given situation. This doesn't mean wallowing in negativity or obsessing over every potential disaster. Rather, it is an exercise in reality checking, where you confront your fears, anticipate adversity, and remove the emotional charge from potential outcomes. It is a way to prepare yourself for life's inevitable difficulties so that they no longer have the power to overwhelm or paralyze you. The Stoic philosopher Seneca described this practice in his letters, urging us to mentally rehearse hardship so that we can face it with calm acceptance when it arrives. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Negative imagination is not about inviting suffering into your life. It's about stripping away the fear of it. By contemplating worst-case scenarios, you remove their power to shock you when they happen. It prepares you to deal with adversity by giving you the mental strength to face anything with calm acceptance. 2. Why practice negative imagination? To reduce fear of the unknown. The majority of our anxieties are based on fear of the unknown. We don't know what the future holds, and because of this, we worry about everything that could go wrong. By visualizing worst-case scenarios, we take the power out of that uncertainty. We come to realize that we can endure far more than we expect, and the unknown is no longer so terrifying. To build resilience. Every time you confront the worst possible scenario in your mind and come to terms with it, you build resilience. Instead of shrinking from adversity, you grow in your ability to handle it. The Stoics believed that suffering is inevitable, but how we choose to respond is what defines us. Negative imagination helps you choose a response that is calm, reasoned, and composed, rather than fearful or reactive. To cultivate gratitude. We often take our comforts for granted until they are threatened. When we imagine losing them, whether it's our job, health, or loved ones, we begin to see how much we already have. This can lead to profound gratitude for the present moment and everything it offers. Negative imagination teaches us not to be complacent, but to cherish life in all its imperfection. To accept what we cannot control. Life is unpredictable, and bad things will inevitably happen. Practicing negative imagination helps you realize that while you can't control everything, you can control how you respond to it. This acceptance of life's unpredictability is the foundation of Stoic peace. 3. How to practice negative imagination. A step-by-step guide. 1. Identify what you fear. Start by acknowledging the things that cause you anxiety. What are you afraid might happen? Whether it's the fear of losing a job, the fear of illness, the fear of rejection, or the fear of failure, identify what it is that keeps you up at night. Example, you're worried about failing an important exam. 2. Imagine the worst-case scenario. Once you've identified your fear, imagine the worst-case scenario. Don't shy away from it. Go deep into the fear. Imagine vividly and in great detail what would happen if your worst fears came true. Visualize every element, from the emotional fallout to the physical consequences. Example, imagine failing the exam. What does that look like? You might have to retake the course, deal with the disappointment of your parents or peers, and perhaps even face setbacks in your career. 3. Ask yourself, can I handle this? After you've fully imagined the worst-case scenario, ask yourself, can I handle this? The truth is, most of the time, the answer is yes. By visualizing the worst, you've already mentally prepared yourself for it. You may not want to experience it, but you can endure it and move on. Example, yes, failing the exam might be disappointing, but it doesn't mean your life is over. You can retake the course, learn from the experience, and keep moving forward. 4. Reframe the worst-case scenario. Now reframe the worst-case scenario. The Stoics weren't saying we should want bad things to happen, but rather that we should accept them when they do. In many cases, adversity brings growth, strength, and clarity. Imagine the opportunities that could come from the worst case. What could you learn? How could you grow stronger? Example, failing the exam may seem like a disaster at first, but it could teach you discipline, perseverance, and the importance of studying more effectively. It could also help you empathize with others who struggle and show you that your worth isn't tied to one exam. 5. Release the fear. Once you've gone through the visualization and reframed the situation, let the fear go. You've faced it, and it no longer holds power over you. Every time you practice negative imagination, you're strengthening your ability to deal with life's unpredictability without anxiety or dread. 4. A practical example, applying negative imagination in your daily life. Let's say you're anxious about your job interview. You want the position desperately, and the pressure to perform is overwhelming. Here's how you could use negative imagination. Identify the fear. You fear that you will fail the interview, not get the job, and that it will set back your career. Imagine the worst-case scenario. You imagine failing the interview. You picture walking out of the building, feeling defeated, and imagining your resume getting tossed aside. You picture the embarrassment of telling your friends and family that you didn't get the job. Ask yourself, can I handle this? You realize that while failing would be disappointing, it is not the end of the world. You can apply elsewhere. You can ask for feedback. You can improve for the next interview. Reframe the scenario. You recognize that failing an interview doesn't define you. It is an opportunity to learn, grow, and refine your approach. You could even use this time to reassess your career goals and what truly excites you. Release the fear. Now that you've mentally prepared for the worst, you can walk into the interview with a sense of calm. If you don't get the job, it will sting, but you know you can handle it and move forward. 5. Conclusion: embracing life's uncertainty. Negative imagination isn't about pessimism. It's about preparation. It's about accepting that life is unpredictable, that things will go wrong, and that suffering is inevitable. But in embracing these realities, we find our true strength. We gain the clarity to act, the resilience to endure, and the peace to live without fear of what might happen. By practicing negative imagination, you remove the tyranny of anxiety and embrace the freedom of acceptance. Life's challenges will come, but you will face them with a calm, unshakable spirit, ready for whatever comes next. If you're ready to explore more Stoic wisdom and bring these timeless principles into your daily life, subscribe now and join us on this journey of inner mastery. See you next time.